diabetes.
Don't be rude.
Did I stutter?
Dude.
All week long. Oh, that's the wrong one. Ooh. There it is. They changed my thing. Sorry about that.
That was a terrible gavel.
Oh, yeah. It's just, it's Monday. What can I say? Welcome. We got a case. Creed actually just woke up, took a nap at 11 o'clock. And, I said, there's no way I even, thank God I set an alarm. I wouldn't even have been here. That's what happens when you get up super early. I'm not used to this.
See, Creed says super early. He means 6 o'clock.
No, 7. No, super early for me is like in the 7s. That's pretty good. Well, Shells, I'm glad to hear that.
Diabetes.
No diabetes. Real quick, I would like to wish a get well to our good friend Michael Malloy, who's sick in the hospital with the C word.
Oh, did he go to
bad C
Outback?
word?
I bet he got it from Outback. I bet you.
Could have been. It's possible. Yeah, cases from across this great land. Creed, I know you got something good there in front of you. I see the man with the beautiful shirt right there on the far right. Love that shirt, orange, and it's very festive, fall-like.
It's got a huge collar on it, by the way.
Well, that's a good one too. But we got some protective order stuff. I rolled it back for us.
All right.
I mean, we're gonna miss some of it if it ends, but I feel like it's worth the risk. I really do.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Let's see what they got.
Okay, thank you. I will try to get that right. And Daniel Nikonowitz. All right, Mr. Nikonowitz is here in the courtroom.
Conwitz.
And Mr. Crowner.
Conwitz Twitty.
Here for Janelle Byers.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then calling Michael Gregg. It's Michael Gregg.
Some strange hair happening all around.
I mean, she does have some very beautiful Mikey
here. We do have 2 cases with both parties present. Before I get to those 2 cases, I'm going to just deal quickly with cases with only one party present. So starting with Hawkins, Trisha Hawkins. Miss Hawkins, you can go ahead and turn on your microphone.
I have a feeling Miss Hawkins and Janelle are friends.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm a little tired, but I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Right,
she got up at 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so looking at the record in your case in our court file, this is case 22-304. I'm not seeing that you were able to serve notice on Mr. Wimmer yet. Were you able to get him served with notice?
No. Yeah, he's actually, the last time I spoke to an officer, they had to pick him up because he was still harassing me. And the last I heard of that he was in police custody.
Oh, all right. I'll do a quick search here and see if he's in custody locally, and we'll go from there.
What does he have to do with this?
Look, I might be stupid. I sit here and I'm looking at this and I said, okay, Janelle and Miss Hawkins hate each other. They need protection from one another, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's someone else. But Janelle is very stoic. I mean, look at her face right now. She means business, and she does that great hair, perfect hair.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hairstyle for somebody
checking the local jail rosters to see if he's there.
I hope she's not.
Yeah, he was supposed to be getting out right before Christmas. Or not Christmas, but Thanksgiving.
Miss Hawkins needs a new internet.
Do you happen to know which of the local jails he might be in?
Olympia Police Department is the only one that I would know of.
She's transmitting from space.
That creates.
She's on the space station right now. But yeah, these are all protective order deals. These are people who need protecting.
Okay.
I think it's pretty simple, right?
All right. Well, we'll hold off on that for just a second. Okay. And then let me just Ms. Hawkins, I'm just gonna have you hold on for a second while we
Okay.
see if we can't get that information. And Mr. Crowner, I wanted to go to your case. And that's Byers
Allegedly.
versus Greg 22-308. And how are you doing this morning, Mr. Crowner?
Just fine, Your Honor. Thanks for asking.
All right, and were you able to get service on Mr. Greg?
We were able to serve him
Winford?
by mail, and that's what we had to do for this case, Your Honor. And Miss Janelle Byers, she's also present here on the call as well. Unfortunately, Mr. Greg, after the incident with Miss Byers, he was actually admitted to the hospital, the local hospital in St. Peter's there. We looked into serving
thought he was in
personally,
jail.
whether by a
She whooped his
processor or
ass.
by sheriff, but the hospital would not allow, obviously, in-person service for a patient there at that time. So then immediately after that, we went ahead and served him by mail, and at least send in the proof of service to the district court.
Looks like you
But
could just
I've
take
not
it.
heard anything, whether it's been returned or whether it's been signed at this point, Your Honor.
All right, then what I can do for you is extend, extend the temporary order and reset the hearing, give you an opportunity to get him notice.
Okay.
All right, and then
Did she put him in the hospital?
since there is an order issued, we do need to do that pretty quickly. 2 weeks would be the 28th. Is that, what's your availability the 28th? We do these on Monday mornings.
Yeah, I believe I should be available for that. Janelle, are you available on the 28th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
I was
Okay,
hoping.
then I'll extend your order
Absolutely.
to the next
I'll be
hearing,
there.
which will be on November 28th at 9
Janelle
a.m.
looks like-
Same,
Oh,
same
Shell,
courtroom,
6
same
months.
login.
Okay, sounds
I don't know
great.
if
Thank
you-
you, Your Honor.
I don't know if you ever seen Son of the Beach,
And
but there
all
was
that,
a
documents
lady who
and
ran the
the,
bar
The temporary order will be available
on the
to you
beach
as soon as the clerk can.
and
get
looked
it
just
in the
like
system.
Janelle.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crowner and Ms. Byers.
Thank you,
Hi,
Your Honor.
Mary.
Trying to be quiet.
All right, did we get any update on custody?
No, it opens up to the website, but it will not.
Okay, well, that happens sometimes.
This judge is so polite.
He is.
Oh, well, that happens from time to time. Things like that go on. By the way, things that happen from time to time, like this video, help us out. We'd really appreciate that. Peace and love, peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Oh yeah, shit, big ass forehead, and then it just wasn't.
Her hair's pulled very tight, very taut.
All right, so Ms.
Okay.
Hawkins, we're gonna go back to your case here. We've done some searches of the local jail population databases and aren't able to find Mr. Wimmer, but that doesn't mean he's not in custody.
He might
Um,
be deceased.
He could be anyway, just not,
Don't jump.
not locally. where
Maybe he
we
jumped a
normally
train.
Search, so.
Hobo shoestring
your-
style.
For your situation, what I can do is essentially the same thing. If you heard me talking to Mr. Crowner, is extend your
I will go for
temporary
Lisa.
order and give you an opportunity to get him served with notice.
Yeah, I heard it was a bad.
Yeah,
beat
and
there,
see, because I know that he was served because I spoke to a police
The
officer.
Bills game was
and,
amazing.
I heard it
It
was
was like the
pretty
day
crazy.
after, 2
Amazing.
days after that I had filled out the paperwork and, submitted it to the court. And he posted some stuff on Facebook. And then when the officer contacted me, I had sent him that post. And he was saying FOPD and F me, and he was going off the charts. And then
I'm
so they
surprised
went back
Facebook
by
didn't
his
put him
residence
in their own
and they
jail.
had
Did you
picked him
check
up and
there?
said now that he is in police
Could be in
custody
Facebook jail right now.
and that he won't be
Yeah,
getting out.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not, criticizing in any way, anything you've done.
You guys are
It's
wrong.
just that we can't take any action to issue an order without him present, without proof that he was served, that he was legally served with the order. And
Freezing
you
here.
telling me that that happened is not enough. There has to be
55 and
declaration
sunny.
service from a person authorized to serve the process, like a police officer or a process
Yeah.
server or somebody like that. So I'm not telling you that
I
I don't
still
believe you. I'm
understand
just telling you
his
that,
involvement and why we
from a
care.
legal-
Maybe she's
legal
got
point of
two.
view,
Maybe this is
the
another one.
options are now is
case?
I can
Yeah.
reset the hearing for you, or you can drop the thing. It's your decision.
I'd rather reset the hearing.
But if you can't serve the guy, it's kind of hard to
Right, the nurse made
really.
a call and she confirmed that he's
It
in
is.
custody at the Olympia,
Ah.
with the Olympia Police Department. And
He's
their
locked
jail
up. There
is
you
at
go.
900 Plum Street. Yeah,
Figured it out.
900 Plum Street in
He's
Olympia.
not dead.
They also have contract for jail services, which may put him physically in a different jail. So if you start with Olympia Police for your service on this, they'll help you. They're very good about that. They'll help you.
They're the
to,
ones
get
that served
service
him
on
the
it.
paperwork.
Okay, and maybe they did, but they haven't returned that. So there's no evidence of service in the
I'm
record
surprised
here.
they won, by the way.
Okay,
Packers.
so just
So,
contact the Olympia Police Department.
Yeah, just contact the Olympia Police Department. Let them know you need to serve, protection order paperwork on one of their inmates, and they'll help you with that.
It seems like that'd
Okay,
be really
um,
easy.
Do
Just
you
say,
want
hey,
November
give
I
this
think
guy
that's
this.
28th? Is that a date that you
That's
can
got to
make?
be the best way to serve somebody.
Yes, it
right?
is.
When they're in jail.
Guaranteed he's going to get it.
And they may even be able, if he's still in custody on November 28th, they may be able to arrange to have him appear from the jail via Zoom. So
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm not promising you they will, but they've been known to do that. So it
Yeah, I
may
always
not,
love those.
it may
From
may
the
be
jail
okay
cell.
if he's still in custody.
Peeks out the hole.
Okay. What
mean-
time on the 28th?
9 a.m. same time, and you'll use the same.
He can
login
curse her out
information.
on Facebook, and
Okay, wonderful.
we can't even
Okay, I've
show
extended your
people at a
order, and,
NASCAR
the
race.
court Clerk will enter all of that and send you your copies.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks for your patience.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
So I'm
And
guessing.
so
I
that,
don't know if he has anything to do
Then
with.
brings up the
He
cases
must for
with,
that case, but
two parties present, and
part was
just
weird.
for everybody's benefit, there's one of these cases involves an attorney representing one of the parties. I'm going to call that case first.
ooh,
And then I'll call the case where both parties are representing themselves. So the first case we'll hear is Rogers versus Tarver. That's 94-3 DV.
Megan Card.
And Ms. Rogers, I see that you're here.
Hey now.
And Ms. Rogers, are you ready to proceed with this hearing today?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ms. Card is here on behalf of Mr. Tarver. Morning again, Ms. Card.
Good morning.
All right, and since this is the respondent's motion, I'll hear from the respondent first.
Thank you, Your Honor. As Your Honor noted, we did file a motion to terminate this protection order. I've also filed a declaration of my client, Leland Tarver, along with his wife, Karen. We do believe that we have met the burden of proof in this case, which is a preponderance of the evidence to show that there has been a substantial change in circumstances. Specifically, the laws have long since changed since 1990. Or when this order was entered. RCW 7.105.500 subsection 3 is now the controlling law. And it does state that upon the motion of the respondent, the court may not modify or terminate an existing protection order unless the respondent proves by a preponderance of the evidence that there has been a substantial change in circumstances such that the respondent will not resume, engage in, or attempt to engage in the following acts against the petitioner. And that includes acts of domestic violence, for which this case specifically was a domestic violence protection order. At RCW 7.105.500 subsection 4, we do have a non-existent non-exhaustive list of factors that the court looks at. And those factors were outlined in the Freeman case. So under subsection 4, it states, in determining whether there has been a substantial change in circumstances, the court may consider the following unweighted factors, and no inference is to be drawn from the order in which the factors are listed.
Is she just going to read from a book? I mean,
I think so. She hasn't made. She's just basically
she's quoting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I always get nervous when it's a domestic violence one they want removed. Like, oh well, things will be fine now. But it seems like from a while back, the way she's talking, like way back.
Factor A, whether the respondent has committed or threatened sexual assault, domestic violence, stalking, or other harmful acts against the petitioner or any other person since the protection order was entered. Your Honor, my client does have criminal history. My client, however, has been sober and has not had any criminal law infractions whatsoever since 2012. We did attach his Washington State Patrol criminal history to his declaration. When it comes to the petitioner, my client has not had any contact with her whatsoever in the past, I believe, 28 years since this order was entered. There have obviously been no acts of domestic violence against her specifically.
28
my client,
years
again, admits that he does have criminal history. There was a malicious mischief in 2014. I apologize. 2014 was the last conviction.
Liar.
But other than that, they really involve substance abuse, not any physical acts of violence. And so again, my client has
pad them numbers on
become
me.
sober. And so we don't believe that factor A is negative towards my client. Factor B, whether the respondent has violated the terms of the
buy one, get one free margaritas from Chili's in 2016. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Are we just trying to get rid of this so this guy can like get a job somewhere? Because obviously he hasn't had contact with this lady, like she said, in like 28 years.
I look forward to seeing why.
Protection order and the time that has passed since the entry of the order. My client has not violated the protection order in any way whatsoever. And it's been about 28 years since that order was entered. Whether the respondent has exhibited suicidal ideation or attempts since the protection order was entered, that's factor C. And the answer to that is no. Factor D, whether the respondent has been convicted of criminal activity since the protection order was entered. And again, Your Honor, my client acknowledges this and admits this. We did, again, file his criminal history, so we were being open and honest with the court, but it has been since 2014 since there was any sort of conviction. And my client, again, ties this to not being sober. As Your Honor can see, a lot of these convictions result around controlled substances. And again, he has been sober since that time. Factor E, whether the respondent has either acknowledged
we've heard enough.
for acts of domestic violence that resulted in the entry of the protection order or successfully completed state certified perpetrator treatment or counseling since the protection order was entered. Again, Your Honor, my client states in his declaration, he doesn't dispute what led to this. Obviously, there was a need for this protection order. The court found a basis for this protection order, but my client has taken steps to right these wrongs. He has done and completed the family I apologize.
You should
take a breath.
Are you doing?
He has completed a number of different classes, including obtaining his GED. He did complete 8 weeks of the Family Focus Program, 8 weeks of anger management classes. He also completed chemical dependency treatment, and he was waiting for that certificate to arrive. We do not have that certificate at this point in time, but he has declared under penalty of perjury that he did complete that chemical dependency. As to the next factor, Your Honor, factor F.
Judge is like, what? Huh? We still on this? What?
Must be a Monday with my computer here. Whether the respondent has a continuing involvement with drug or alcohol abuse, if such abuse was a factor in the protection order. And again, Your Honor, I've said this multiple times. My client is now sober. Obviously, there were a lot of substance abuse issues. Factor G, whether the petitioner consents to terminating the protection order, provided that consent is given voluntarily and knowingly. I don't know the answer to that. Factor H, other factors relating to a substantial change
I think
in circumstance.
he's got an idea.
I do believe my client's declaration has a lot of other information. Again, he
keep it to
acknowledges God as part of his sobriety, his support of his family, the fact that he has a church that he goes to every
Is he
Sunday,
friends with Bill
that he
W?
has been working really difficult or
We've seen
really
many
difficult
people say their pastor
through
will
difficult
vouch for them coming
circumstances.
to court.
Excuse me, Your Honor, to make sure that he continues this relationship with those folks at church. He has a great relationship with his stepchildren. He's fully employed and works as a foreman for the tree services, where he supervises 4 employees. So in this case, Your Honor, we are asking that the court find a substantial change in circumstances. I am not sure, quite honestly, what led to the entry of the protection order. When I look at my client's criminal history, I don't see anything around 1994 that would lead me to believe that Miss Rogers was the victim of a criminal act. I also tend to believe that these older orders oftentimes were lifetime orders. And that's not something that we see very often now. But back in 1994, when this order was entered, it is a lifetime order. Ultimately, Your Honor, my client wants to obtain his firearm rights, and this is the first step in doing so. Because this has a domestic violence tag to it, he is not able to possess firearms, and he would like to do so under the Second Amendment. So we do believe that he has met the substantial change in circumstances, and we would ask that the court terminate the order. Thank you, Your Honor.
He wants a gun back. That's what all this is end of the day.
All right, and Ms. Rogers, I did the court received, and I did review the statement that you filed in response when you apparently were notified about this. And at this point, you can tell me anything that you think I need to know, anything that you think is important, relevant in making a decision as to whether or not to terminate this order.
Okay. Actually, that order was made permanent in Ms. Card because there were so many violations, and I was in court so many times because Mr. Tarver wouldn't quit following me, wouldn't quit harassing me. He was at my work. He'd be there before I started work, so he could meet me in the parking lot. He blocked my car.
Where I work.
And when I went out to leave, there was so many violations, they just put it on for life. So it wasn't because that was the standard back then. Also in 94, I was with,
is there, after just hearing her say those few sentences, is there might be a chance that he's not going to take it off?
I
mean, she said all that good stuff, ties to the community and, blah, blah, blah. But she just comes in hot with this weirdo was outside my work waiting for me. He was there before I started work, after work.
Does he get to have a say, I wonder?
No, that's why she's here.
the person who I married. And so this was still going on. This started in 89 when I was in high school. I mean, by 94, that many years had passed. I hadn't been with him. It was still going on and on. Also, in the paperwork that you
started in
to
high
me,
school,
you said this is old. This is 28 years old. In one breath, and in the same breath, then you send me these exhibits that you just mentioned. The Family Focus Program, that's from the year 2000. The anger management, again, from 2000. Where's the most recent stuff? Nothing. And he's so great at his job, and he goes to church. There's not one letter from a pastor, a clergyman. There's not a letter from a coworker, a boss. The only person who wrote that thinks he's fantastic is his wife. I mean, and yeah, I see his charges here. Eluding police. He was in his 40s in 2012. In his 40s, still hasn't grown up. Normal people that are in their 40s aren't still eluding police. And I see
these wounds ain't healed, baby.
The heroin and the meth charges. That does not make me comfortable for this person to be having a gun. And as I stated in my letter, I think the only reason that he hasn't harassed me is because he doesn't know where in the hell I am. Period. I mean, he still asks about me when he sees mutual friends out and about, as recent as 5 years ago. That's worrisome. He is not a blip on my radar screen yet. I'm still in his mind. That's weird. This is from high school. I'm 50 years old. This is ridiculous. I do not feel safe that he wants a gun. This is very worrisome to me.
I thank you for the $5. Appreciate you.
Let's go ahead.
Whew.
Get your votes in, because I mean, this completely turned around.
I haven't spent enough time with her to completely believe her, but the way that she's rattling it off sounds like the 5 years ago thing's kind of funny. Asking friend, how's she doing? That's not good. It's not good.
It's still, he's still got that stalkery type feel to it.
Also, one thing that hits with me too, from that little bit of what she's thrown out, the fact that there are no letters.
Mm-hmm.
From
That's
anybody
typically
else.
one of the first things.
Yeah, I think that's a bunch of people vouch for it, even if it doesn't get brought up in court. At least the judge
sees them in the file. Yeah,
I mean, if you got, here's the boss from, I'll go blah blah blah, and
I mean, everything she said before this. I mean, let's get this straight. This was 28 years ago. If this woman felt fine and it was no big deal, do you think she'd be here right now talking?
No.
Just her presence alone,
good point,
for this speaks volumes about how she still fears for herself. And she brings up good points. We're talking about, oh, well, he's doing great. He hasn't been. And she said, he's in his 40s and he's running from the law. I mean,
she just came in swinging. No,
I would have to vote no. I really would. As of right this second, no.
I am not at all. I don't think this should be removed in any way.
All right. And is that all you wanted to tell me, Ms. Rogers? Is there anything else that you feel like I need to know before I make a decision about this?
Well, I'm just curious where's the drug test that shows that he's clean? So, and just because he goes to church doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of terrible people that go to church.
My stepdad went to church and he beat us every week.
There's no current
So
anything. Everything is old. I don't know that he's off drugs. The National Drug Institute says the relapse is between 40 and 60%. There's no guarantees he's going to stay off drugs. You say all these charges revolve around substance abuse. I don't know that he's clean now or if he would stay clean. So that's worrisome also.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rogers. All right. Well, obviously, what we're dealing with here is a very old order that was issued. Certainly, I'm sure for very good reasons at the time. Things have changed in the law in the meantime, but I think the sort of the basic structure is still about the same. We don't have the records of the hearings from that long ago, so nobody's been able to go back and review the allegations or review the record of the case. And all we really have is the order, and we have Ms. Rogers and Mr. Tarver's recollections of events. And so that's a fairly thin record, but I think it's also substantial in many ways. And I think one of those ways is that Ms. Rogers has shown through her declaration that she filed before and what she said here today, that the events of that time profoundly affected her, and that even in the intervening time,
it still affects
that effect hasn't gone away. Which, I think leads to an inference and a fair one based on the record we do have, that the order was issued for a darn good reason. And it appears that it's offered for Ms. Rogers the protection that it was designed to offer her. So that brings us, forward in time to the question of whether the order should be removed. And the law provides for a mechanism to do that. There's not any kind of presumption that orders like this that are issued are permanent, that they last for a person's lifetime. But the law does provide for the person, the respondent in this case, to show the court that they have changed their circumstances, and to demonstrate that by preponderance of the evidence. And Mr. Tarver has provided the court with some pretty compelling evidence that I think after that much time, we would expect to see. He obviously spent some time incarcerated. He obviously participated in some programming that was designed to rehabilitate him. The records of that are incomplete, but his description of what those programs were and when they occurred is consistent with.
Remember, this is also he can get a gun.
That many of us in the system have about how
Let's not
corrections
forget that
programming
part.
works and the reason that it's offered. And anyone, I think, after this much time would be expected to have changed their behavior, or if they had not done so, would, quite likely be incarcerated or be facing current criminal
Oh,
charges.
I think he's going to give it to him.
Mr. Tarver is
going
not.
to give
All
it
of
to
that
him.
to his credit.
I think you're right.
Now, looking at the factors maybe a little bit more specifically, I am concerned that in the intervening 28 years, there has been a pattern of criminal activity that has continued up until 2012.
Absolutely.
I'm not. There is a statement in Mr. Tarver's declaration that he has changed and acknowledges that he bears responsibility for the acts that caused the order to be issued in the first place. There isn't a lot of detail there, and there isn't any evidence of counseling or treatment records or anything that show that or consistent with that. It's just a sort of a surface level statement. Now, clearly, Ms. Rogers does not consent to having this order removed. And in a way, I kind of keep coming back to that because I want to know, or, in analyzing this, I want to know why. If she does not consent, why? Is that because, in her view, there are all sorts of reasons that could be.
This day
helpful and
age,
reasons
it's
that
not that
could
hard
not
to
be
figure out where
helpful. For
somebody's at if you
example,
want
a
to.
desire to just
That's true.
keep the other person from moving forward with their life, or to exact revenge, or to have an amount of control over the other person. If I believe that those things were
I
true,
think you're right.
Working
I
it out
keep-
of his head
would
right
now,
you're right,
hesitate to
Golden
remove
Goats.
the order. But Ms. Rogers, in her declaration and her statements here today, does seem to retain, I guess, some of the fears and the apprehensions that a person who had experienced domestic violence to the level that an order like this was issued would reasonably have, although it's persisted for a very long time.
Good point, Kay.
So all these factors, I mean, I don't think all these factors that are cited in the statute are relevant, but many of them are, and weighing them all together. And I guess part of this is based, of course, on my impression of the credibility of the information that I'm being given by both parties, and weighing that too. I'm going to find that Mr. Tarver has not demonstrated sufficiently a basis to remove the order.
There you
In
go.
other words, has not provided to the court evidence of substantial change in circumstances that he will not resume or engage in or attempt to engage in any domestic violence against Ms. Rogers, or in this case, domestic violence would include violation of this order. So for that reason, those reasons, I'm denying the request to terminate the order.
Wow. Bang, bang, bang. Creed, I saw you got some licking. I will pause this because we can come back to it, hopefully.
She's going nuts
The
here.
thing is, if you want to get a lawyer for this case, don't wait until the day of your trial to
She's
deal with
very
feelings, all
animated,
right?
this girl.
I'm planning on trying to shoot for probation. So I say I'll try to stay clean.
All right. Well, you may go with the officer now, Ms.
Shooting
Diego.
for
Thank you.
probation, Creed. Just like the last guy was.
I wish you could have backed her.
Ryan Ballou.
Backed
I
up that. She's
I can
very
see her
animated.
laying all over the podium and stuff.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Ballou?
Excuse me, sir?
Are you Mr. Ballou?
Yes,
what?
Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Ballou, do you understand your rights in court today?
Yes,
Baloo
sir.
like
You
the
received a copy
bear?
of the two complaints.
Yes, sir.
Did you read those, and do you understand what it is you've been charged with?
Yes, Yes, sir.
Do you want to stay on looking for just a minute, or you
Well,
want to?
actually, the first.
Let's give him a chance right here, and then if it's not panning out, we'll go back
I'll
to
tell
the
you what.
protective order.
I'll BRB, and then
Misdemeanor of the first degree.
We'll
Carries
go
up
from
to
there.
180 days in jail and up to $1,000 fine. The second count alleges that by threat of force, knowingly caused a family or household member to believe that the offender would cause imminent physical harm to the family or household member. That's a fourth degree misdemeanor. It's a
There you
difference
go.
between they're saying in one instance you caused or attempted to cause harm.
Mine as well, Jay.
So fourth degree misdemeanors up to 30 days jail, up to a $250 fine. You understand that those are the charges?
Yes, sir.
All right, and these are alleged to have occurred on the 13th day of November in Franklin Township in Lincoln County, Ohio. How do you wish to plead?
Not guilty.
And what is your current address?
12881 Fairview Road, Newark, Ohio. 43056.
Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Environmental health and safety manager.
And where do you work?
This is true. You can. So we'll see.
Where are they located?
New Albany, well, all over the world, but in New Albany. And
That's where
Columbus.
you're off. That's where you're based out of.
Yeah,
About to
two locations there, sir.
start handing them out, Hector.
Quick look at the file, then we're going to talk about your bond. So just bear with me a moment, all right?
That bald spot. Keep your head up, brother. If you're new here, we'll jump from courtroom to courtroom. We're jumping over here to Licking, Ohio to see. Typically, there's a lot of really crazy people in here. When I say crazy, they act the fool when they come up to the podium. If it doesn't seem to be exactly what we're looking for, we'll jump back to the protective order stuff so that we hopefully it won't end or anything like that before we can get an entire case in with that. So don't go anywhere. Oh, yeah, he got that back in the 90s. He loves it. Oh, Dallas Alice, I bet I could put you right up there with you. I got a story you would never believe. I only needed one. He was a doozy. They try to keep the copy machine and the microphone right together. It really does make for a wonderful effect. It's kind of quiet there in the jail today. Must not be too many people in there. Sue's not having to yell at anybody.
All right, Mr. Ballou, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and release you on your own recognizance on the condition that you have no violent contact with any family or household members. So I'm not prohibiting contact altogether, but if it gets out of control, the cops get called. Even if charges aren't filed, your bond could get revoked. You could end up back in the jail until your case was resolved. This is going to be randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial. Until and unless an attorney gets involved, all notices are going directly to you, so make sure that your address is correct. You can hire counsel if you like. You can ask the court to appoint counsel, which we'll do if you qualify. You can get the application at the jail, but
I believe
they're
it.
not going to send it in for you since you're getting out. The key is if you want to get a lawyer, which you don't have to, but if you do, just deal with that well before the next time you're supposed to be in court. Do you have any
I
questions?
have not been in Texas.
No, sir.
Then very well. You may go with the officer. Thank you, Mr. Ballou.
Yes, sir.
All right, next we have William Belts. Mr. Belts, you understand your rights in court today?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, we have one new case that we got to deal with. It's a traffic thing. And when I say
Yep,
new, I'm suspecting relatively September.
Within a month or two.
Yeah, and then you have a warrant out for me, which I issued back in.
Quiet.
Is that for the menacing?
Yeah, that's on the menacing. So
We're just going to plead both today.
well,
He
let's
looks pretty menacing.
Everything up for a moment, all right?
Okay.
You understand your rights in court?
I do.
Did they give you a copy of the traffic ticket from September?
They do. I have it in my hand.
All right.
Yes, sir.
It looks like they've amended the license charge to a failure to reinstate. They're claiming the
Correct.
suspension was up, but you just hadn't paid your reinstatement fee. Now, based upon your previous driving record, Looks like that's going to be an unclassified misdemeanor still. Yeah, it is. So no jail time on that, just the possibility of community service and a fine and a suspension of your right to apply for a license. How do you want to plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
He's the heir to the Belk's department store. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yes. He's never menaced a
Now,
soul
the
in
other
his
case,
life.
as you correctly pointed out, is for this menacing charge, which is from July the 2nd.
Other than menacing those high prices.
I've been picked up twice on it, so I've served 6 or 7 days already.
Well, you know why you got picked up twice on this? Because you keep not showing up for court.
Correct? Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
Well, you have a couple of options here because your case was assigned to me. If you want to stand on your plea of not guilty, I'll set a bond for you today, and then we're going to get a new court date.
You know what they call that?
Want to change your plea to guilty or
A
no
mic drop.
contest and waive your right to counsel? We can do that. New choice.
What's maximum, min-max on that?
The maximum possible penalty is up to 30 days in jail, up to a $250 fine. But actually, you know what? I misspoke because of Marcy's law. Even if you wanted to resolve it today, I could accept a plea, but I can't impose sentence upon you because we are required to notify the alleged victim of the hearing of their right. So you want to just stand on your not guilty plea?
Yeah, if I could get an OR, yes, Your Honor, I'll show up this time.
Well,
I'm ready to move back to Knox County and just get my life back in order and get all this over with.
Sure.
So why haven't you been showing up for court?
Because the girl who it involves, Mrs. Carbusia, keeps telling me she's going to go in there and recant her statement, and then each time she does not.
Are you familiar with the comic strip Peanuts with Charlie Brown and Snoopy?
Oh yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Are you familiar with Lucy and the
Pulling that
football?
football.
Yes, Charlie Brown.
Pulling the football?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. Yep.
That's you.
Well, think of if what you're telling me is true. Think of her as Lucy. You as Charlie Brown in the ground of the court.
I know. I'm done with her after this one. I love her, but it is what it is.
Well, I believe you're under a no contact order with her. So.
No, that was dropped. She didn't show up for that.
No, that was
28
bond,
years ago,
that's a
Your
bond
Honor.
condition. That wasn't.
Oh, okay. Either way. Okay, yes, Your Honor.
Again, stay away from the girl.
I was doing DoorDash, but I will be when I get out. I just gotta get my car out of the impound. That's another reason I'd like to get out today. The fines are just
I thought
piling
you were
up.
going to say DoorDash fired him. I was like, damn. You got to do something pretty bad to get fired from DoorDash.
Are you aware that you are presumed to be innocent? The state has the burden of proof. You have a right to a trial, and
yes, sir.
And a plea of guilty admits that it's true. You're also charged with overtaking and passing. That's a minor misdemeanor.
The
on the right side.
Peanuts
correct?
reference is great.
I don't know. I didn't read the details.
That's
just
on
yet.
the right. Okay.
That's a minor misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is a $150 fine. Do you want to plead guilty to that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So my questions apply to equally both of them. Are you a citizen of the United States?
I am.
And you realize that by pleading guilty, you'll give up your presumption of innocence.
Yeah.
The state won't have to prove anything, and you won't have a trial.
I do, Your Honor.
All right.
You know that animated series you wanted to
stuff?
do, Mikey,
I know,
would
Your
be
Honor.
great with some Dallas Alice stories.
Oh, my God.
So I guess I don't understand the Marcy's law.
Well, several years ago, Ohio voters adopted what's a
Marcy's law.
amendment, which is commonly known as Marcy's law. Basically, it's victims' rights, most of which were already ensconced in Ohio law anyway. But the group behind pushing the constitutional amendment wanted to make it a part of the Constitution. The voters agreed that that was appropriate, and that's why we have that. What it means is a victim has the right to be notified of any court hearings, to be present at those hearings, and to address the court before any decisions are made.
Okay, is that going on
Kudos.
for the rest of my life or just in this pertaining case?
Those rights apply case by case. So
Okay.
unless you have something else going on, that person doesn't get to
No,
come in and talk about
I
whether
have
you
no-
get a job or something.
No, it just sounds almost like domestic, which
Good
is
to
a
see
domestic
you,
issue, I guess. But does it affect?
Well,
Will
let's
flag
say
me
you were
when I go
charged
by
with
it?
stealing somebody's catalytic converter. The person who owned the car the catalytic converter was on would have the right to come in and make a statement too. Same difference.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying then. That makes more sense. Okay.
Sue,
Explain it to me like I'm a child.
please.
Is what he keeps saying.
I understood your reference about a childhood cartoon.
Basically, it's not a victimless crime.
Do that again, please.
Well, like, let's say you were charged with disorder.
You say you're Garfield.
That's
You-
it, thank
You
you.
still the lasagna. John's got a right to know you're coming back home.
I love
All
the
right,
cartoon
$175
reference.
on
You
your
get,
driver's license
Yep.
charge, $50 on
Got
the
it.
overtaking and passing.
Now it makes sense.
Now,
Being
as far as
Nancy,
your
thank you
other
so
case
much.
is concerned,
yeah, Kiernov was trying to chat or thought he was chatting during the.
Yeah, I checked and I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
I was
I could
worried
think of
about
is
that.
Thought you were on a live one, maybe, and you were chatting away. I don't know.
I went back and checked all through it and I didn't see a single thing. Oh, well, I'm glad you're over here hanging out. This guy seems like a upstanding citizen. Good fella.
That's too funny how he explains that. And
Explain to me.
anything else.
Oh, now I understand. Now that makes sense.
Ooh.
Oh, get your fingers out of your
no.
mouth.
Ew.
Ah,
That's not-
everybody that's touched that podium is in his mouth now.
What's me?
Ah, gross.
all right, so Mr. Belts, here's what happened. The court has granted you numerous continuances on this case, and then even despite that accommodation, you failed to appear for your
Yes,
last
Your
court
Honor.
date. When I issued a warrant for your arrest, I set bond at $1,500, cash surety or 10%. I see no reason to deviate.
They said there was no 10%, Your Honor.
Well, I'll make it a 10% bond today. Typically, you're right. If it's a failure to appear, I don't. But I'll make it a 10% bond. But be advised,
Maybe
if you
tonight.
post it and you don't show up, not only are you on the hook for the whole $1,500,
So is
the
whoever.
person.
Yeah.
So please just
So if
show
I
up
was
so
to
we can
plead guilty,
investigate.
though,
What's that?
pleading guilty today, you couldn't sentence me today.
I could not because of Marcy's law. Now,
Would
she
you
may
be able to
not want to
let
be
me-
present and may not want to make a statement, but we have to at least notify
And
her.
it cut off, I heard.
Would I be able to be released today if I
Cut
pled
up.
guilty?
It's not a long
Then or
form
no?
video. I
Not
mean,
today, all right.
Okay.
But I will tell you this: if you ultimately change your plea to guilty, this time will not be dead time.
Guys are
You'll get
spoiled.
credit This time, if I impose a judgment.
Correct.
Understand?
Okay, so $150. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Belton, the guilty officer.
get out of here. Get.
Daniel Cotter.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cotter. You understand your rights in court today?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a copy?
The singer from
of the
Simply
complaint?
Red is falling on hard times, y'all.
Yeah, I just did today. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to read it? Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Not necessarily. I mean, I read it, but I don't necessarily understand it.
Well, let me rephrase my question. Do you
You
understand?
ever seen
what-
Peanuts? Comic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've been charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle.
You ever watch the
alleged on or about
Flintstones?
October the 26th of this year within the village of Utica and in Licking County, Ohio, that you knowingly used or operated a motor vehicle, specifically an 03 Toyota Corolla, without the consent of the owner or a person authorized to give that consent. Now, that's a first-degree misdemeanor. Maximum penalty is up to a $1,000 fine and up to a 180-day jail term. How would you like to plead?
Not guilty.
And what's your current address, Mr. Cotter?
25 and a half South Central Avenue, Utica, Ohio.
25 and a half South Central,
Yes, sir.
and that is in Utica.
Yes, sir.
You have a P.O. box, or do you have the mail come to the house?
Yeah, P.O. Box 634.
See, told you.
Are you employed?
Yes, sir. I work. I'm an apprentice for the union.
What kind of work do you do?
Masonry.
Red,
don't even
red
know
wine.
I just started
That's
about 4
UB40.
months ago. That's why
Sorry.
I'm worried I'm going to lose my job.
Okay. When did you get arrested?
I got arrested like
Holding back the years. Maybe.
Just keep. You'll hit one of them here soon. Jim, thank you for the $5. Great crowd here today, by the way.
So you still have the
Very good
18
crowd.
holder on you?
Yes, sir. I guess because they dropped the felony and then they said I'm just here waiting to see my parole officer. But he, you know what I mean? I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do. I've passed every drug test. I go to work. I have a job. I get my
My
license
hunch
back.
tells me they're probably waiting to see what happens with this thing. Because originally they must have charged you with theft of a motor vehicle, and that would be an F4, I believe. So, all right. All right, here's what we're going to do, Mr. Cotter. I'll go ahead and release you on your own recognizance on the on this case. We'll go ahead and set it for a trial after randomly assigning it to a judge. You're going to get notice by mail, so make sure you include your P.O. box on your bond paperwork. You can apply for court-appointed counsel. If you're not going to get out because of the holder, the jail should send it down here for you. If you are going to get out, you have to turn it in. And if you don't want to get a lawyer, you don't have to get one. But any questions?
Yes, I do have a question. Sorry for interrupting, but so do you know how that parole office thing goes? Like, do you know if he'll talk to you or contact me? Or
I
what?
have nothing to do with the APA. I know because I have access to the jail inmate list, which anybody else online, to be blunt. And it just simply says holder, parole violation, APA holder. So presumably your officer would make a decision and either drop the holder or at least come down and talk to you, but I don't have any authority over that at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other
Thank you.
questions today, Mr. Potter?
No, sir. Have a good day.
You do the same. Good luck. Next, we have Robert DeBoard. Good afternoon, sir. You Mr. DeBoard?
Yes, sir.
That's him. Now he's not stealing cars, Mike.
Yep.
Sir.
We have two cases that we need to address for you. One is alleged to have occurred over the weekend, and the other is alleged to have occurred last
With the weekend.
October. So let's back it all up. You do understand your rights, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did they give you copies of the
Yeah,
complaint?
the APA's here.
Yes, they did.
And did you read those and do you understand what it is you've been charged with?
Yes.
I'm Gilbert Godfrey.
What's your date of birth?
3/20/95.
Well, hello there.
Okay. Let me look you up here real quick on my master list. There you are. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take them chronologically, Mr. DeBoard. So the first case that we're going to talk about is alleged to have occurred on October the 27th of this year within the city of Heath in Lincoln County, Ohio. The first count alleges that you, knowingly with the purpose to deprive the owner of property valued less than $1,000, obtained or exerted control over that property without consent. It's commonly known as theft. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. You're looking at up to 180 days jail, up to $1,000 fine. The second count alleges that on the same date, same location, you did, without privilege to do so, recklessly entered or remained on the land or premises of another, as to which notice against unauthorized access or presence is given by actual communication to the offender. That's commonly known as criminal trespass, and that's a fourth-degree misdemeanor, and the maximum penalties are up to 30 days and up to a $250 fine. So do you understand that those are the two charges in that case?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you understand that those are the two charges in that case?
I'm sorry.
do.
My nail
How
or
do you want to
something.
plead?
Are you talking to me?
You want to do a guilty plea?
Yes.
Okay. Then let's go. Okay, fine. This is alleged to have occurred on Saturday. The first count, and this is alleged to have occurred in Newark. The first count is theft. I won't read the definition of it again. And the second count is criminal damaging. That's a second-degree misdemeanor. It's alleged that on or about November the 12th of this year within the city of Newark and in Lincoln County, Ohio, that you knowingly caused or created a substantial risk of physical harm to any property of another without that person's consent. Maximum penalties are up to 90 days, $750 fine, and you could be ordered to pay restitution. So how do you want to plead to those two charges?
Guilty.
Okay. Now, before I can accept your pleas, I'm going to ask you a number of questions. I'm not trying to get you to change your mind about what you're doing, but as you well know, I'm required to verify you're doing this of your own free will. All of my questions will pertain to both of these cases. Understand?
Yes.
Now, you have a right to be represented by counsel, and you're eligible to ask the court to give you one for free. And if you qualify, we would do that. An attorney can advise you of any defenses that you might have or motions that can be made on your behalf, and generally try to.
Stosver is one of our faves.
He is.
To waive your right to a lawyer on these cases. Qualify or a judge or a jury because you're presumed innocent. It's the state's burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have a right to question your accusers as well as a right to compel or require your own witnesses to attend the trial. And you would do that by virtue of the court's subpoena power. Understand?
Yes.
And you have a right not to testify at the trial if you don't want to. Nobody could make you. If you didn't, wouldn't be counted against you in any way. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, plead guilty is a complete admission of guilt. That means the state no longer has to prove anything in order for me to find you guilty. It also means you'll waive those rights that we've just discussed. And if I accept your pleas and enter convictions, we'll simply proceed to sentencing, and you will be given an opportunity to make a statement. Understand?
Yes.
Now, did you understand the maximum possible penalties that I explained?
Yes.
All right. Have you been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to do what you're doing?
No.
Are you under the influence of anything right now?
No.
And are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Yes.
All right. Let me take a quick look at the files, and then if you want to make a statement, you can. If you don't want to make a statement, you don't have to. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did you say you were born in 95?
Yes.
All right. So you're what, 27 now?
Yes.
Was your mom's name Linda? Did she date a guy named Dave back then? I might be your daddy. I Thought he was digging in deep on that one for a second.
Dave's not here.
Oh, I miss Dave. Miss all the Daves. He's just wandering off.
Squints are real. They like on a stage at a comedy club. Maybe we didn't
It's
even
very
realize.
bright lights. Yeah, he's constantly squinting.
Dave's not here.
Poor Dave.
All right, so it looks like one of them from the one from October was over some combos at Speedway.
Yes. I don't know anything about it. I'm just going to plead guilty. I don't even know where it came from. I don't know anything about it at all.
Combos at the Speedway.
It says you went into the Speedway over there on 79 and he snagged a bag of combos and took off.
I hope it got the garlic parmesan ones because they're actually
And then
pretty
the other
good.
one, let's see what this says. Looks like
I like the
Circle K
ones that are smooth.
on
There's no
Circle
salt
K.
on them.
Those are
Main
usually the
Street.
sweet ones.
I wouldn't dare.
basically just kind of a grab all. You admitted to the cops.
Official
that
snack
you
of
took a
NASCAR.
couple of whiskey balls and a hat. Remember that?
Whiskey balls.
Yeah, I took 2 beers and a hat.
Okay. The criminal damaging stems from apparently something was knocked
I
over.
grabbed 2 beers and a hat. That's cool.
Never decided what they were. So, anything else you want to say before I decide what to do here?
No.
All right.
This
So-
guy is a master
Where do you live?
thief.
In Granville.
All right. Do
With
you
my
actually
grandparents.
live there, or do you?
I had a
use
pizza
mailing
once
address?
too.
I use it as a mailing address, and I stay there from time to time. It's my living situation as it is. What it is, really. I mean, I live there, but I'm not there all the time. I can't always be there.
When you're not
It's a
there,
living arena.
when you're not there, do you not have any place else to stay?
I have places to go when I'm not there, but sometimes I might not be able to. The living
Yeah,
arenas
yourself.
are pretty bad because we have a lot of people who are staying there right now, and my grandmother is almost on her way, or she's about to pass away, so it's kind of complicated.
I'm sorry to hear she's not doing well.
turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the buffalo ones. I wasn't sure about the garlic parm ones. It's kind of
I've never had those. Yeah.
much. Yeah, Mom got them, but ironically enough, for the last race we went to, and didn't finish them. Accidentally left them in the truck, and I finished them for her. They're very good.
I like that he stole combos one time. Then he steals 2 beers and a hat another time. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got
garlic parm.
got quite the repertoire. Well, good luck on that. Yeah, who's your cable provider?
I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain because now you got me thinking about which combos with no salt. It's just that one. And I remember I bought a case of them once.
Yeah, they're like smooth on the outside.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
Very
talking
gentle
about.
on the inside of your mouth, not so rough.
Because it's a cracker, not a pretzel so much.
Mm-hmm,
I can't remember what damn kind they were.
But they were
And
very good.
because your mind, it's kind of a mind F because you're when you're eating combos, you think the salty part, looking for the, I can see that a little bit, Bobby Earl.
He's definitely
Now, these cases are somewhat challenging to me. I don't
know.
when I look at these because you didn't go in there and steal a bunch of stuff. You didn't.
It's just combos and they're expensive, so I get it.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about small food items, and I know you're doing it basically because you have no
is that
other way to purchase
Indigent.
it when you're hungry. I get that. I mean, obviously, there's the alcohol side of it too, but
He was
the
thirsty,
problem
you're
is
out.
It just keeps happening.
makes sense.
Right?
Combos make you thirsty.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do.
Very.
On the criminal damaging and on the criminal trespass, I'll impose $50 fines on each. On each of the theft charges, I'm going to impose a $150 fine in order that you pay the court costs in each of the cases. Also on the theft charges, I'm going to impose 5 days on each theft. I'll run them consecutive for a total of 10 days, and I'll give you credit for the 2 days that you've already been in, but I'm not putting you on probation. But by the time you get out, it'll be in about 8 days, and you won't be on probation. Any questions?
No.
All right, Mr. DeBoer, you may go with the officer. Good luck to you.
A lot of places you have to steal a certain amount for them to even press charges. I mean,
We have Eugene Donaldson.
very petty theft. 6, good to see you.
Settle bond for you today because you're here pursuant to a warrant that I issued when you failed to show up for court. Looks like it was earlier this fall, specifically on the 27th.
Yeah, I had it confused with a court date that I have on December 10th. That's just a phone interview.
Whoa!
This guy has multiple court dates? Really?
Court date was with that bunch that got stolen. I had to change my address. It's a big hassle, really.
He's got a very itchy
But
neck.
you guys have the new address, I think, 70 East Church Street. I got it corrected down here.
Saw him at the last metal show I was at. He was right up front.
Right up front.
Last
Like
note that we sent out was the West Main.
trying to
Street,
help the band load onto the
told,
stage.
The court when you were
Right.
arrested.
Shit face,
Well, I
falling down
I
drunk.
got everything corrected. I got to
Still
come down
trying to
there
help.
and correct it, I guess.
Asking the same question over and over
People were
again.
breaking into that mailbox, stealing my food stamp cards, stealing my phones and shit like that.
What?
Language. We got a lot of people watching on YouTube. All right.
Yeah, don't say that shit.
apologies,
We got people on YouTube. All right, Judge Stansbury. We'd love to have you on someday.
Please come on.
Please, you and Sue.
Anything else you want to say before I decide what your bond should be here?
No, sir.
All right. And you just got arrested today?
Yeah.
Is there any way that
Cases
there
from
are
May, it's not the first time you'd failed to appear. So when I issue a
multiple
warrant,
protection orders
set bond
against
at
it?
5,000 cash or surety only. I'm going to modify that, not to an OR. I can't do that. But I will reduce it to $2,500, and I'll also provide that be both cash surety and 10%. Now, I'll let Mr. Ward know, I believe that's your counsel of record, that you were arrested on the warrant. He will speak with you. You guys can talk about however you want to resolve the theft and the trespassing charge here. But we'll get this set very quickly because this is the only thing you're being held on. Do you have any questions?
No, sir. I'd like to hurry and get it over with. You know what I mean?
I understand. And if you decide you want to change your plea the next
It's
4
so
days, we
itchy.
can certainly do that. Just let Mr. Ward know. Okay?
All right.
All right. You may go with the officer. Thank you, Mr. Donaldson.
I mean, we see people that are scratching because they
Jonathan,
need something. He needs a bath. That's
Yeah.
what he needs. He's scratching because
Yes,
It's making
Mr. Drummond?
making me itchy just looking at
Yes,
it.
sir.
And Mr. Drummond, do you understand your rights in court today?
Yep.
You're here because Judge George issued a warrant for your arrest when you failed to appear for trial. It looks like the trial was scheduled for October the 26th, so a few weeks ago. All I have the authority to do today is simply set a bond for it. Then it'll get sent back to Judge George, reset for a trial. You can do whatever you want that day, whether it's plea, trial. If you're lucky, maybe they dismiss it. I don't know. But either way, all I'm going to do is set a bond. So I need to verify your current address, please.
It's 5397 Julian Road.
And that's what you told me the last time. What's the city and state?
Hey now.
All
it's
right.
the bastard.
That's the
pot.
address we had on file. That's where the notice went. How come you didn't show up for court?
Just didn't show up.
That's fair. I appreciate your honesty.
Busy eating combos. right?
Let's see. Let me look something up here real quick.
I didn't want to get out of bed that day.
There we go. All right. Do you actually live at the house in Amanda, or is that your mailing address?
Yeah, I kind of stay there.
Who lives there full time?
It's my aunt who lives there full time.
All right. Do you work? What do you do during the day?
No, sir, I don't work.
Do you
Well, he's
receive
honest.
disability benefits, or are you just unemployed?
Unemployed.
All right. Anything you want to say before I set your bond?
No, sir.
He's pretty chill. I mean,
Right across the front, I believe it says 2-man team lift. So if you're going to pick them up, you need to get another guy, bend at the knees, and be careful.
So did you get arrested in Lancaster, and then they figured out they realized you had the warrant, contacted our sheriff's office, and then they just handed you off the county line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What caused you to come into contact with the police down there?
I'm they do random checks, you know what I mean?
So did they come to your house in Amanda?
No,
So where were you actually arrested?
in Lancaster.
I know, but I mean, like where? Like in
Where?
Florida?
wow.
Yeah,
Jesus.
outside the store.
Okay, all right. And I mean, they just like said, "Hey, what's your name, buddy?" And oh, by the way, you got a warrant.
They
Usually
said
I
I
work.
look like I probably had a warrant.
Okay.
Oh, did you see that?
All
I think
right.
he's got two
Well,
teeth.
here's the deal,
just
Mr.
fangs.
Drummond. I will typically defer to
Mr.
a judge.
Dracul.
Another judge has issued a warrant and set a bond. I will usually go ahead and defer to that judge because it's their case. They know more about it than I do, and frankly, I appreciate it when they do the same for me. Unfortunately, in this particular case, Judge George set a bond of $1,500 cash surety or 10%.
It really
I
is.
will leave it in
insane.
that amount, but we'll refer it back to his office, get it set as quickly as possible. If you want to get a lawyer, get an application.
No, I think it's how they get into
Counsel
and
there
out
at
of
jail, they'll
doors,
send it
JJ.
down here for you. You don't have to. The next court date will be a trial or a plea, or possibly a dismissal if you're lucky. But either way, it'll get resolved the next time you're in court. Any questions?
It's like a kebab.
All right, Mr. Drummond, you may go with the officer. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Brandon Payne.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Payne?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Payne, do you understand your rights in court today?
I do.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint that was filed against you?
Yes, I have it.
Did you read it? And do you understand what it is you've been charged with?
I do.
You've been charged with a single count of domestic violence. The maximum penalty there is up to 180 days in the county jail, up to $1,000 fine. How do you plead?
I'd like to plead guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Before I can accept your plea, I need to go over a few things with you. First and foremost, domestic violence is, as I mentioned, a misdemeanor of the first degree, which carries up to 180 days, up to $1,000 fine. There are other consequences that aren't readily apparent. Number one of which is this is an enhanceable offense. If I accept your plea of guilty here today and enter a conviction, if you were to be charged with domestic violence at any time in the future, whether it involves this other person or somebody different, whether it's next week, next month, next century, doesn't matter. It could be charged as a felony
28
level
years
offense.
from now.
Felony level offense could carry a potential prison term. You understand?
I understand.
And also, if I were to accept your plea here today and enter a conviction, under both federal and state law, it would be unlawful for you to be in possession of or to have, carry, use, or otherwise have control over any type of a firearm or even any ammunition. Do you understand that?
I understand.
All right. Now, you have the right to be represented by counsel. If you couldn't afford an attorney, we would appoint one to represent you at absolutely no cost. The benefits of having an attorney or somebody who could tell you what defenses might be available to you, motions that could be made on your behalf, and in general, try to get you the best possible outcome of this case. You understand that?
I understand.
And would you like to have a lawyer, or do you want to give up that right?
Yes, the main concern I have is a witness testimony taken into consideration of how the case is played out.
Well, here's what will happen. If you plead guilty today and accept your plea, I'm going to sentence you, and it won't matter what the witnesses say. If you plead not guilty today, I'm going to set a bond for you. We're going to randomly assign it to a judge and set it for a trial. At that point, the state will be on notice that they're going to be required to overcome your presumption of innocence with proof beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the offense. That means the state can call witnesses. Well, they'll have to in order to present evidence. You have a right to call your own witnesses if you want to, although you're not required to. You have the right to issue subpoenas, which would require your witnesses to attend if they're served with those orders. And you have a right to testify. If
I was a
want. Nobody can
judge,
stop you. You have a right.
I'd want to have all this shit
Nobody can make
already
it.
recorded,
And
and I
that
just hit a
decision wouldn't have
button.
any bearing on your guilt or innocence. Meaning, if you didn't
It's saying the
testify,
same thing
they
over and
couldn't-
over
the
again.
jury or a judge couldn't take that into consideration.
But you got to do it with
in
each
deciding whether
person, of
to
course.
go first.
Mhm.
All that.
I understand. I'd like to continue with my guilty plea.
All righty.
Okay.
As I mentioned, you have the right to a trial with a judge or a jury where you could confront your accusers through cross-examination. That means you could question them after they finish testifying against you. Understand that?
Yes, sir.
I think we already talked about your right to compel the attendance of your own witnesses, as well as your right to testify or not. Now, if you plead guilty to this offense, the state won't have to prove anything in order for me to find you guilty, and you will give up those other rights that we've just discussed. Do you understand that?
The right to firearms and
Well,
Right?
the rights as far as cross-examination,
Hit the
compelling the
board.
attendance of
yes,
witnesses,
sir.
all that.
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
My
Did you
legal
understand-
rights in court, yes.
Yeah. Did you understand the maximum possible penalties and those other?
Was that?
That I explained to you?
Huge yawn there.
I'm sorry?
Next to
Did you
Sue.
understand the
Sorry, somebody is yawning very loud. Can you say that again, Your Honor?
consequences of pleading guilty?
Yes, sir.
Have you been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to do what you're doing?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of anything right now?
No, sir.
Did you say no or yes?
Not under the influence, sir.
Okay, good. And are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I find that your pleas and your waivers have been knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily made. I'm going to accept those. Sue, we're going to need to do a written plea or a written counsel waiver there. She'll have a form for you to sign off on. Make sure you actually read it, because after you've looked at it, I'm going to verify that you read it, understood it, and that is in your intent. All right? So she'll assist you with that while I review the fine.
Yeah. So we've seen this before where he'll have somebody sign something,
Mhm.
read it, and he'll say, "Did you read it?" and they'll say, yeah. And you know, good as hell, they had not read a single word of it. They're just standing there looking at it, pretending.
So is this a pretty big charge? I guess that we're doing things a little tiny different there with that.
It doesn't seem like it's no crazy big charge. It was domestic, right? So, I mean.
That's what I thought. I thought I missed a part of that. Is that Sue? Did she just cough, sneeze?
I hope she's okay.
I hope she didn't have a turtle head or anything, because that's the end of her day. Well, he just looked over there and smiled. Did she just grab her? I hope not.
I don't know, but he definitely is not reading, Creed.
He's not. That's true.
While he's supposed to be reading, this is your opportunity to do something nice for the world.
You were previously-
like this video.
Well, they amended it to an assault. That did not involve the same person, correct?
Correct. That was a previous relationship.
I beat all my girlfriends, Your Honor.
Sue!
Good to see Sue. Pez.
I like turtles.
Oh, look at that. All the Sue you can enjoy today.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
He looked over like, oh. You think Sue's ever had to go hands-on with somebody? I bet she has.
I bet, yeah. I
So,
bet.
Mr. Payne,
I bet when she has to be, she's a badass.
it says that you completed your probation on the other case successfully. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had 12 months probation with Officer Bernard here in New York.
And you did what you were supposed to do. You never got revoked, correct? Or
I'm going to say I was never written up.
But I mean, they never revoked your probation, right? I'm not showing that they did. It looks like the characterization is that
Trick
you were
question.
in your probation.
Oh, yes, correct.
Okay.
I completed probation without issues.
Did they have you do the batterers intervention program?
Yeah, in New Lexington at Allwell, I believe is the location.
And how long did that program last?
Not long enough.
I honestly do not recall. I believe I don't want to speak.
Was it
if
like
I'm
a
not
few
sure.
months
I
or was it
believe
a
at
lot
least
longer?
several appointments.
I said, was it a few months or was it a lot longer?
I would say a few months, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Here's my next question. Who owns the van that you guys are staying in?
That is my girlfriend's van.
It's a motivational
guess
speaker guy we live with.
Well, not anymore after you pled guilty. She's the victim.
That's cool. Yeah, correct.
All right. So let's see here.
They live in a van.
Yes.
And it's not even his.
Not even his. I have a roommate, Your Honor. He's a motivational speaker. He's hardly ever there, but when he is, he likes to stand down by the river. Obviously, this guy's not learning anything. He keeps beating up every girlfriend he's got. Oh yeah, it's got shag carpet on the walls, the ceiling. It's beautiful.
I'm guessing it's a conversion van, Pez. As soon as I mentioned it, I just see, the big top, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Some nice wood paneling somewhere.
I like things got those bubble windows, those on the side, like I believe they call those submarine windows.
Yes.
You're not staying there anymore. I like that he's like, yeah, I'm staying. We live there, and he's like, you're not anymore.
That's great.
You've moved yourself out of the van.
Well, somebody just burp.
There's a lot of bodily sounds going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not
stuff.
sure whether you were paying attention, Mr. Payne, when I was speaking with
He
another
wasn't.
individual who had an issue regarding
Trust me.
what we call Marcy's Law. It's victims' right issues. Victims have the right to be notified of the date and time
That's
of
it.
the hearing
I believe that's
being
the
held in their case. they have a right to be present. They have a right to address the court before the court takes any action. That would squarely fall into this case. So I'm going to accept your plea here today and enter a conviction. However, I'm going to continue the matter for the purpose of sentencing so that we can notify Ms. Thunberg of her right to be present. Now, she doesn't have to be here, and even if she is and makes a statement, the court isn't required to do what she wants the court to do, but she has a right to be heard. So do you want to say anything before I set your bond?
Yes, most of all, any leniency that can be shown. I've spent 5 days in quarantine here. I've done a lot of self-reflecting, and I'm interested in taking further classes, as in were required in the first case where my charge was reduced to an assault. I've done some reading in the time I was here, and I'm really interested in bettering myself, and I believe I can take it more serious than the first time around.
So many lighthouse pamphlets I've read since I've been here.
Mr. Payne, I'm going to take into consideration the fact that you were previously charged with a domestic and ultimately pled out to an assault when I set your bond here. And so, the court does take the allegations of family violence very seriously.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is, and let me see one thing here. Yeah,
I don't believe him.
On the 10th?
Wednesday?
It was last Thursday, it looks like. Maybe it was
5 days in solitary.
No,
Found God. He's going
the
to take
reason you didn't get to court until today is because Friday was a holiday.
Real turnaround.
Weekend, so this is the first time court has been held. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500 cash or to your 10%. I'll put on a no violent contact with Heather Thunberg. I'm not going to put on a complete no contact, but we're going to go ahead and get this thing scheduled.
Almost sounded like he said it.
Now, if you
I'm pretty sure that's what he said, right?
Then just fill out an application.
Did she have anything to say?
How dare you?
And I'll give you a chance to speak next time before I make any decisions regarding your sentence. All right?
Oh, God, yes.
All right. You may go with the officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go with God, my friend.
Do you think that they keep the bed in the back down
afternoon, Mr.
permanently, or
Robinson.
do they make it a seat once in a while?
All right, Mr. Robinson, you have two matters that we need to address.
No seats back there,
One is the
brother.
warrant that I issued for your arrest.
We
and
sold
bail
those.
for court recently, but you got a new charge of criminal damaging and endangering. So let's back everything up. You do understand your rights, correct?
Pretty sure that van don't even run.
Did they give you a copy of the new complaint?
Yeah, yes, sir. I did see it.
Yeah, you read it and understand what it is you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, criminal damaging is a second-degree misdemeanor. As I mentioned, this is alleged to have occurred on November the 11th, which was Friday. Carries up to 90 days in jail, up to a $750 fine. Also carries the possibility of an order of restitution as well as court costs. How do you wish to plead?
Not guilty, sir.
All right. And what is your current address?
I'm 35 Benview Drive, Pataskala, Ohio.
Is Benview one word or two?
2 words, actually.
Okay. And you said that was Pataskala?
Yes, sir.
And what's your zip out there?
Looks like he's emerging from the
43062.
podium.
Now refresh my recollection. Are you employed?
I am actually, yeah.
And where do you work?
I work with a private contractor.
Do you have sanitizer on your desk?
Do you have any sanitizer?
Do you have anything I could drink?
Can I say one thing? My birthday is tomorrow.
Happy
and I
birthday!
with my mom, so.
My mom's gonna party plan for me, you asshole. Let me out. Get me out of here.
Okay. Now, I issued the most recent warrant for your arrest back, just last week, it looks like. You were scheduled for a jury trial on a theft case. You have a couple of options. You can stand on your plea of not guilty, in which case
Definitely, that's what I'm saying. That is not me. Like, I did not do that. I have no idea how my name got brought. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wow, that
now,
he escalated and de-escalated very quickly.
Other than I have a birthday plan with my mom tomorrow, no, sir.
Happy birthday! She got the funny cake mix and icing.
We're planning on going to Cece's, Your Honor. She likes pizza. She likes the way the macaroni's twirly. You know what I mean?
Gotta get me out of here. It's my birthday tomorrow.
I bet she'd have a better birthday if he was in jail.
Yeah, the best birthday he ever had.
I'm not drinking myself water, of course.
Yeah, lick it. Put your face right down on it.
Disgusting.
I think everybody knows it's your birthday now.
They do now, don't they?
You'll be turning how old?
35, sir.
35, yes, still celebrating birthdays with mom at 35. Fudgy to well. What's the one?
Cry?
Oh, I hope so.
Is he gonna? Is he? He's might be working.
If I can't get out of here, I don't know what I'll do.
Let's see here. Who's your lawyer? I think you have Mr. Miranda.
I didn't do it, Your Honor.
On its body, which
Who you said? Do you have an attorney?
Do you have an attorney on your theft case, the one that you failed to appear for trial last week? I'm going to provide that she gets a copy of the bond entry that I just
I
signed off
didn't. I
on.
didn't even know I had an attorney, sir.
You do have. You don't have one for the new charge yet.
Do I gotta get dressed up for a?
Yeah, yes, yes, sir. I understand that.
Well, let me look.
Yeah, I think
fancy
she did. I don't know. I don't know why.
Actually, she's still technically counsel of record from what I can see.
What was the
All
cake
right, so
Fred
here's the
wanted?
deal. First and foremost, I want to be 100% abundantly clear. This has nothing to do with your birthday. The fact of the matter is, when I issued the warrant for your arrest last time, I reflected that the bond should be set as a recognizance bond. And I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to go back on my word. But I was shocked myself at what I had done when I looked back at that warrant. Because frankly, I would very much like to keep you so we can get this matter resolved.
Cookie puss,
However,
that's it.
I will release you on your own recognizance. We will get this set. But I want to be also upfront with you today, Mr. Robinson. If you fail to appear again, not only can that be taken into consideration if you were to ultimately plead guilty or be convicted of the offense, but if you stand on your plea of not guilty, you are not going to get an OR bond next time. And I don't care if you're having a second birthday. You understand that? All right. I'll also release you on your own recognizance on the damaging charge. That will be randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial until unless you're involved.
Cookie puss.
You. If I were you, I'd get an application from the jail.
You still make those?
Put Ms. Miranda's
Oh, I'm
name on it.
sure.
You can handle both of these
I think it's
things.
Carvel that makes them.
You don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But one way or another, it's time to get these things resolved. Do you have any questions?
No, sir. I do not. Thank you.
Very well. You may go with the officer. Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
You will not control my destiny.
Is that it?
I don't know.
I think
Is he
it's
opening
called-
presents
No.
right now?
Is it Stellar or Selig? I can't remember.
It's hands him a gift.
All right. You understand your rights?
Little something from all of
Yes,
us.
sir.
And did you get a copy of the, it looks like there are 3 complaints here.
Yes, sir.
Did you read them? You understand what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
All right. First count is domestic violence. All these, by the way, are alleged to have occurred on November the 13th in the village of Buckeye Lake, Lincoln County, Ohio. First count is domestic violence, knowingly causing or attempting to cause physical harm to a family or household member. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, up to 180 days jail, up to a $1,000 fine. Second count, I believe, is just an alternate theory of what they think happened. It's assault, same location, same date, recklessly or by force. Wait a minute, that's resisting. The assault
Would
is
that
knowingly
Would
causing
those two
attempted
charges be
physical
the
harm to
same?
another.
The assault.
What's that?
Would those two charges be the same? The domestic violence and the assault.
Well, as I was saying, I think what that reflects is they're charging them both.
Love his hair in the
about
back right here.
same set of events that they claim happened. It's alternate theory. So the difference between the two is, in order to be convicted of domestic violence, it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim was a family or household member. For assault, they don't have to prove that. Understand?
Okay.
So a lot of times they'll do that because that way, if they can't prove the family or household member, they can fall back on that. You are charged also with resisting arrest on that same date. And they said that recklessly or by force, you resisted or interfered with the lawful arrest of you. That's a second-degree misdemeanor. That's up to a 90-day jail term, up to a $750 fine. How do you wish to plead?
Can I plead not guilty, sir?
Yes, you can.
I actually, if you don't mind me saying, I do have a beautiful family. I have a wife, 3 kids. We've been together for 10 years. We just got married this year. I'm very low on means of money. I work very hard for my money. She stays at home and homeschools our kids because I have an autistic son who is high functioning autism.
Okay.
I need to go back to work if that means anything.
I've also been invited to a party tomorrow, Your Honor. I need to get out.
I leave my house.
It's just a really big birthday party tomorrow, Your Honor.
Obviously I recognized you. And I think
that's not good.
I was assigned to your OVI case, and I was also assigned to your resisting and disorderly case. So
Hey, at least he's got a job, though.
Other than this case, which I may get assigned to, I'm assigned to all 3 of your cases.
Sorry, Gary.
Or at least the 2. Understand?
Gary, I'm sorry.
Now I'm going to take a look here at the file. I'll certainly take into account what you had to say, but then basically I'm going to make my decision about your bond based on the purposes and principles of bond as contained in the Ohio.
It has nothing to do with the fact that you want to go to that birthday
Honor,
party tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely nothing to do with the party that you were just invited to. Yeah, he had a job. I'm sure he will. I mean, he's got all these youngins he's got to take care of.
I got a lot of kids, Your Honor, and that birthday party. He just told me in passing when we were talking with Sue that he's getting a bounce house, like over to Mikey's house.
Might as well. I mean, it's a huge milestone. 35 years that dude was alive. No one thought he was going to make it there.
Which, by the way, I thought he said it was his mom's birthday.
Oh, baby, it's his birthday. Mom's got a big party planned. Mark your calendars. 11th month, 15 day. Homeboy a while ago, birthday.
I don't care if you have a second birthday.
Yeah, come back here. You'll be in trouble.
Hey, look out. I like how you said it's not because it's your birthday, which means it is. You're lucky. You got out. I have a feeling that actually might have worked a little bit. Maybe
It's never good when the judge says, "Oh yeah, I recognized you right away."
That's always a bad.
Another guy that can't keep his hands to himself.
We got another great crowd today. Should we hang out for a little bit today? You want to?
Yeah. We'll hang in here a little bit longer. Absolutely.
I am going to go check the traffic and weather together real quick.
Okay.
If this goes black, I don't know what to take. BRB.
I'll be ready. Don't worry. If it goes black, we're good to go.
Yeah.
He's in there just handing out invitations, telling everybody how great the party's going to be. Biggest party ever, petting zoo, balloon animals. I can't believe you brought up it was his
How do you
birthday.
pronounce your fiance's last name?
Boniti.
Boniti.
Wife.
You guys. Oh yeah, you said you guys got married.
Boniti.
Got married this year. Yeah.
Well, here's what we're gonna do, Mr. Selig. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, but on several conditions. Number one, you're not in contact with Shauna Benite. Furthermore, you're not to consume any alcohol or take any illegal drugs. And furthermore, to verify your compliance with that order, I'm going to order that you report to the probation department and have what's called a SCRAM unit installed on your ankle. That stands for Secure Continuous Remote Alcohol Monitoring. Basically, it will detect whether or not A, you drink alcohol, or B, whether you tamper with the unit to avoid being caught consuming alcohol. And if you are caught either tampering with it or consuming alcohol, your bond can get revoked and you're sitting in the jail till this is over and done with. So that being said, when you get released, you have to report directly to the probation department. Now, if the department is closed by the time you get here, you need to be back down here the next morning, no later than 9 a.m.
Walks away.
Dan?
Okay. And it's at this building?
It's at 40 West Main Street at the corner of 4th and Main. Now, the other thing I want to make you sure you're aware of, you will be required to submit to a breath test prior to them putting on that SCRAM unit. If you blow any numbers whatsoever, A, it can't be put on, B, your bond can get revoked right then and there. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Very well.
Absolutely. Thank
This
you so
case
much.
will be randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial. You're going to get notice by mail of when that's going to be. And
I like the scram idea for this
if you haven't
guy.
already, I would strongly suggest that you fill out a court-appointed attorney application. You can get it at the jail, but it's your turn to you'll have to turn it in. You're going to be at the building anyway, so don't not do that. You only need one application, but you're going to need to put all 3 case numbers down, and the folks in the clerk's office or at the jail can help you with that. So do you have any questions today?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Very well, Mr. Selig. You may go with the officer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin Cheech.
Cheech?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that what- Mr. Cheech.
You're Mr. Cheech?
Yes.
Oh,
Did you
Cheech.
attorney figure rights in court today?
Yes,
Did you get a copy of the complaint in your case?
I did.
You read it and understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, I did, sir.
Looks like you've been charged with theft. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. It's alleged to have occurred on Friday in the city of North and Licking County, Ohio. Maximum penalties there for that first-degree misdemeanor.
Pretty
are
nice, right?
180 days jail, up to $1,000 up to a $1,000 fine. How do you want to plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
And what is your current address?
301 Hudson Avenue.
And that's here in town?
That's a big
Yes, sir.
dude,
Yes, sir.
man.
All right. Now, do you actually live there, or do you use that as a mailing address?
I actually live here.
All right. Who else do you live with?
My soon-to-be wife,
Wow.
Jamie Getz.
Do you work?
I do. I work for my Uncle Barry.
What do you guys do?
Quiet down.
Contractor. He flips houses.
buys them and rebottles them and resells them.
Sure. How long you been working with him?
About 2 years now.
Okay.
That's he works with Uncle Barry, by the way, if you guys didn't hear. Uncle Barry. They're flipping houses. He goes outside and just turns them over for Uncle Barry. Only flipping trailers, by the way.
All right, here's what we're going to do today, Mr. Sheesh. I will release you on your own recognizance. This case is going to be randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial. You'll get notice through the mail of when that's going to be, so make sure your address is correct on your bond paperwork. There's no apartment numbers or halves or rears, right?
Yes, sir.
There's not?
No, there's no.
Okay, all right. Now, if you get a lawyer, I'll notice.
Tall drink of water, huh?
Yeah, he works with Uncle Barry, by the way.
Their job is to help you out. Your job is to make that job easier. Do you have any questions today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can get the application for court-appointed counsel at the jail, but they're not going to send it in for you since you're getting released. So don't wait until the day of trial. You know how the drill works, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may go with the officer.
Look
Mr.
what
Sheesh.
Lisa
Thank
just
you.
put in our group. I don't know if this is real.
Tyler Smith.
It's got to be. Maybe. I mean, it looks real. It's a 50-foot leg lamp in Oklahoma.
Good afternoon, sir. You Mr.
Is that for the movie coming out soon?
You get a copy of the complaint?
Jesus Christ, that's great.
Did you read it? You understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
You've been charged with improper handling of a firearm. That's a 4th-degree misdemeanor. Maximum penalty there is a $250 fine.
Improper handling
30-day jail
of a
time. There's no
firearm.
mandatory penalties on that. How do you want to plead?
Not guilty.
And what is your current address?
37 Burr Avenue.
That's here in Newark?
Yep.
He don't look old enough to have one.
My grandmother.
And you actually live there, or do you just use it as a mailing address?
No, I live there.
You work?
Yeah, I work at McDonald's over on Church Street.
All right, and how long have you been over there?
I just started there last Tuesday.
All right. One down there by the Duke and Duchess?
Heard of that place.
Right beside Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah,
I'll never stop there again. He was trying to determine which one he's not going to go to anymore.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Let me take a quick look over here at the file, and then we're going to talk about your bond, all right?
All right.
Has he been crying? Look how tiny his eyes are and poofy. It's like a young girl in jail.
Did you get the tattoos so he didn't get beat up just as much? Looks like badass.
Trying to be hard. Trying to go hard. Improper handling. I don't even understand that charge. I mean, I might be naive, but
I bet you he grows a beard like Mikey.
oh, grows a better one than me. Old Patchy the clown.
Yeah, old Judge Kim's doing good.
Judge Kim stuff was #1 top tier. I heard some people were watching old episodes of his not too long ago.
Okay, well, this is a pretty long narrative statement, so bear with me, all right?
Oh, hell.
Uh-oh.
That's never good. He'll never make it in the big house.
I think he just picked a good one. Did you see that? He went like this and then looked at it. At least he didn't eat it.
No, he froze up for a second. I didn't see it. Who you live with? Your grandma? Your mom? Which one?
I'd bet grandma. For sure.
Okay, so it'd be brandishing, then store it legally, carrying it legally.
It means he's not that much of a badass and he likes to shop at Hot Topic.
I saw his painted fingernails. Yeah. You know, if you paint them, you don't have to clean them as often. Everybody knows they're dirty.
Not sure, Nancy.
I don't believe
Bad to
so.
speculate, they say.
By the way, if you everybody here, do us a favor, subscribe to We Gotta Chase Case
Less than 18 years old.
KCASE, please. That's a case only channel that'll be doing more exclusive stuff too, here and there. So
Pretty lady walking into the courtroom just caught Judge Stansbury's eyes. Did you see that?
I thought he was going to say, "Doctor, what are you doing here?"
Doctor,
Are you planning on asking the court to appoint counsel to represent you here?
What does that mean?
I mean, you're eligible to ask the court to give you a lawyer for free, which we'll do if you qualify. You can get the application at the jail, but it looks like I'm going to go ahead and release you on your own recognizance here today on the condition that you not be in possession of any weapons, not just firearms, no guns, crossbows, nothing like that, okay? Now, the case is going to get randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial. We'll send notice in the mail to where the address that you give us. So you're staying at Bird Avenue and that's where you want it to go. Put down that address and make sure it's correct. You can hire a lawyer if you want. You don't have to have a lawyer at all, but don't wait until the day of trial to deal with getting an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Smith, do you have any other questions today?
No, sir.
Then you may go with the officer. Thank you.
Thank you.
His cams were back up the other day when we were
Paul
looking.
Sullivan.
He messaged me just the other day. He's doing good. Got a place now. He's doing maybe number one.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Sullivan?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Sullivan, do you understand your rights in court today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint that was filed against you?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you read it? Do you understand that you've been charged with a single count of domestic violence?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is a misdemeanor of the first degree, and the maximum penalties include up to 180 days in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. How do you wish to plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
What's your current address?
17 North 12th Street, Newark, Ohio.
And do you have some other place you can stay?
Yes.
And where would that be?
43 Hawks Avenue.
And who
Newark,
lives there?
Ohio. A friend of mine.
Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
Lear Corporation.
And how long you been out there?
11 and a
Lear?
half years.
Like the Jets?
Hey, Donna.
I was about to say, did you work
Donna?
directly for the company or for a staffing agency? But I think I know the answer to that question.
Yeah, directly for the company.
On hiatus, as they say.
All
We'll
right,
be
let's
back
look here at the file, then we're going to talk
eventually.
about the bond, all right?
All right.
We always come back.
So he works for Lear. He's got a good job.
Yeah, 11 years. Look at this guy. Let him out just because he's had a job for 11 years.
It sounds like he's probably he looks menacing for sure. But he may have gotten into a squabble with a loved one, I'm guessing.
That's what I was thinking, like the old, yeah.
I was hoping it was the old Lear jet. Either way, it's a good job.
All right, without getting into what may or may not have happened on Friday, is there anything
He's
you want to say
sick.
before I set your bond here?
No, sir, I have nothing to say.
Got the sniffles. That's not good.
All right,
It
here's
is-
what I'm going to do, Mr. Sullivan. I am going to release you on your own recognizance, but I am going to put on a no contact order for now. So you're not to have any contact either directly or indirectly with Stephanie Sullivan. So do not put down on your bond paperwork the address on North 12th Street, because if you do and your case is assigned to me, I'll immediately set it for a bond revocation hearing on the assumption that you're violating that term. If you have belongings that you still need to retrieve from the address, you can make arrangements for what's called standby assistance to the Newark Police Department. Folks to the jail can kind of tell you how that works, but you'll have to arrange it through NPD. This case will be randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial. You'll get notice by mail of when that's going to be. So again, put the address down where you're going to be staying, not at the North 12th Street address. Understand?
Correct.
All right. If you want to get a lawyer, you can hire one. If you want to go court appointed, get an application from the jail. If you are being released today, well, at least let me verify that you're not being held on anything else. I'd be surprised if you were.
I was going to say, I haven't been in trouble in a long time.
No, doesn't look like it. So you should get out today, but that just means if you're going court appointed, you have to turn it in. And either way, if you're going to get a lawyer, either by hiring one or going court appointed, do it well before the next time you're supposed to be in court. All right? All right. You have any other questions today?
No, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Sullivan. You may go with the officer. Thank you.
Yeah, he does have a menacing look, like I said.
Ashley Warren.
My
And it
God,
is
how many
the
people?
truck parts is what it is.
Good afternoon. Are you Ms. Warren?
Busy weekend there in
Hey,
Licking,
Ms. Warren,
Michael.
do you understand your rights in court today?
Yes, sir.
Did they give you a copy of the two complaints that were filed against you in this case?
Yes, sir.
Did you read those and do you understand what it is you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
You've been charged with, in the first count, with littering. That's a third-degree misdemeanor. That's up to 60 days in jail and up to a $500 fine. You've also been charged with violating Parks and Recreation Area trail rules.
Oh.
That's a minor
Hey,
misdemeanor.
now.
The maximum penalty is
She go off the trail.
$150 fine. Apparently, they're alleging that you camped someplace without
Ah.
permission to do so. So,
And she's in
do
jail?
you understand that those are the charges?
Yes, sir.
And how do you want to plead?
I would like to do a not guilty plea, sir.
All right. And what's your current address?
555 Sirocco Avenue, Newark, Ohio.
Was she
And do you use
homeless?
that as a mailing address, or do you actually stay there?
I'm in the process of moving in there, and I'm in the process of having a job interview tomorrow as well.
Of course. You
Now, see, usually when I'm speaking with folks over the video on Monday arraignments, their job interview is always that day. But yours isn't until tomorrow?
No, I had a preliminary interview actually last week, and he starting a new painting and siding job that he's starting
Hi, man.
tomorrow. He wanted
Man,
me to
what's
go
up?
up at 8 a.m.
Okay. Well, for whatever reason, when they filed these charges, they requested that a warrant be issued for your arrest instead of a summons. I don't know if that was because they didn't know what your address was. That's probably more
Yeah,
likely.
they didn't know what my address was at the moment.
Yeah. Because
Guess
I
not.
was looking on
We're
the
not
jail
having
officer to
that.
see if you were being held on something more serious, and
She's
you
rocking.
weren't. So here's what
Sounds
we're
like
going to do today, Ms. Warren.
she picked a
I'm
bad
going to release
spot
you on
to
your own
camp.
recognizance. That just means you're going to promise to show up for future court dates.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to tell you when those are by sending you notices in the mail.
Yes, sir.
You have the right to apply for court-appointed counsel if you want, but you don't have to get a lawyer.
That's okay.
You can hire one if you like, if you're going to be making big
Yes,
money
sir.
on your painting job. But you don't have to have a lawyer at all if you don't want to. Okay. But
Yes,
the main
sir.
thing is, if you want to get one, deal with
Big
that well
money.
before you're supposed to be in court next time.
He's
And then we'll
roasting
send you notice.
people
And
today.
one other
Yeah,
thing,
he is.
in case the place on Sirocco falls through, you can track your own case at our website, and you can always call the clerk's office to find out when you're supposed to be
Awesome.
back.
Thank you so much.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions today,
And I'm
Ms. Warren?
out today.
You're
I'm
gonna
out
be released
today?
today. That's correct.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Out today.
I want to know more about that.
Christopher Zigan.
Jesus, the list just goes on and on.
Like you don't know if she was,
Good afternoon, Mr.
camping
Zigan.
for necessity or just for
Right.
fun.
All right, Mr. Zigan, you understand your rights in court today?
Yes, sir.
What I have in front of me here is a traffic ticket, but it looks like you're being held on another matter as well. Did they give you a copy of your ticket?
No.
No. It looks like the Newark Police Department is alleging that on or about November the 12th at approximately 11:32 p.m., you were operating a silver 99 Honda on South 6th Street near Jefferson Street within the city of Newark and in Lincoln County, Ohio, while under a license forfeiture. Based upon your previous driving record, it looks like that is going to be, there's one, and there's two. They're alleging you have at least 2 prior convictions within the previous 3 years, so that makes it a 4th-degree misdemeanor. So the maximum penalties are up to 30 days in jail and up to a $250 fine. There's a possible license suspension of up to
The
1 year.
littering one
But
had
it's only
higher
mandatory.
consequences than that.
Yes, sir.
It was $500.
Not guilty.
All right, what's your address?
28 Scioto Drive, apartment A. I just moved in.
And what city and state?
East Ohio.
And that's A as in Alpha?
Yes, sir.
All
There
right.
must be a trial
Okay,
coming
well,
up
Mr.
next.
Zigan, I'm going to go ahead and release
I
you
think
on your
you're
own
right, yeah.
recognizance. We'll get this assigned.
I'm
right
pretty
now
sure
to
it's
the
Protect the blondie.
trial.
The
We're gonna send you
ADA
notice
or
by
whatever
mail
he
to
is.
Make sure your address is correct. Have you seen the magistrate on your child support issue?
Yes, he said I was to be released Wednesday at a court hearing. Does that mean I still get released today?
Thank you.
Or
No, if she told you they're going to hold you until you're actually in court on Wednesday, you'll be in there until at least Wednesday. You're just not being held on this case. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you are eligible to ask for court-appointed counsel, or you can hire one if you want. You don't have to get a lawyer if you don't want to, but if you want to get a lawyer, get the application there at the jail, get it filled out as quickly as possible, and then if you are released on Wednesday, get it turned in. Any questions?
Where do I get the paper to do that from?
You can ask the corrections officer there that's helping out with the arraignment motion. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Zigan, you may go with the officer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes, sir.
How long does it normally take for you to get your paper?
Okay, that'll bring us to Cheyenne Deal. Good afternoon. Are you Miss Deal?
I am.
And Miss Deal, do you understand your rights in court today?
I do.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint that was filed?
Yes, sir.
Did you read it? Do you understand you've been charged with disorderly conduct?
Yes, sir.
Now, they filed that as a misdemeanor of the 4th degree, which means it carries up to 30 days in jail and up to $250.
Keeps rolling.
How would you like to plead?
No contest.
All right. Now, a no contest plea doesn't admit guilt, but it admits that what they say happened is true. So even though it can't be used against you later on in any civil or criminal proceedings, if the facts that are contained in the court file and the police reports, witness statements are sufficient to sustain the charge of domestic violence, I would enter a guilty finding. Do you understand that?
I thought you said disorderly conduct.
Okay. You have the right to an attorney if you would like to have one by hiring somebody, or you have a right to ask the court to give you one for free, which we do if you qualified.
No need, sir. What happened did happen.
Okay. And you know what, Ms. Deal? I'm going to give you a chance to give me your side of things in a moment, but let me just run through my questions and it'll go a little quicker, okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you understand that you're presumed to be innocent?
Yes.
Spill her guts.
It has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh, yeah, I did it.
We talked about your right to counsel. Did you wish to waive that right?
Yes.
Okay. You have a right to testify at trial if you wanted to. Nobody could stop you. You have a right not to testify at trial if you didn't want to. And if you didn't, it's not held against you. You also have the right to question your accusers and to call your own witnesses and compel their attendance by way of the court's subpoena power. You understand all of that?
Yes, sir.
Now, by pleading no contest, the state will no longer be required to meet any burden of proof for me to find you guilty, and you'll waive those other rights that we've just discussed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If I accept your plea here today and I enter a conviction, I'll impose sentence upon you.
Well, good
Do you
thing
have
she
any
was.
questions
It
about the
wasn't
maximum
yours
possible?
this weekend. She would have been in jail all weekend. God, Roger.
Have you been threatened in any way in order to get you to do this, or have you been promised anything to do so?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of anything right now?
Agreed.
No, sir.
And are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Of course, yes.
Okay. I have
There's a
that.
long pause there.
Trick
Okay,
question.
1 second to review the file, and then as I mentioned, I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a statement before I make any decisions here, okay?
Okay.
Well, he reviews
Okay.
the file. Maybe watch one more, and then we're going to jump on out of here. Don't forget, coming up next, Mini Chase Monday, and we got a chase. Looking good today? Or?
Yeah, it's a stat card along with an officer that was injured during a simple traffic stop. All that and more.
That shorts of him getting bit, in the wang. Made me laugh.
It's so good. It may be juvenile, may be childish, but it's what we do best. Why would we do anything else? You do what you're good at. You find a niche and you just ride it on to the ground. I want to hear what she's got to say for sure.
Unless he shuts her up quick, because she was about ready to.
I mean, she's given the old no contest, so I'm guessing he'll let her just go.
Oh, that's a good point. Golf and Guns, thank you for the $2 on the monetary monorail, and most importantly, the caboose.
Yeah, looking like the caboose for sure.
Hey, Chris. Hauling some cords, are you? God, Rod Zahara. Good deal.
Thank God I don't have to do that.
Well, I would probably have to read that 3 times to have a complete picture of exactly what happened. But what is it you'd like to say before I make any decisions here?
Well, to sum it up is I am tired of being stabbed in the back and
You didn't
walked
too.
over and disrespected by teenage children.
Well, I got the impression from reading that narrative report that there's a lot of chaos in the house.
Yes, I plan on taking my kids to a shelter away from there.
Okay.
I don't know what else.
How long have you been staying over on West Main Street?
Since I tore my ACL last May.
Playing professional football.
There, I had 2 surgeries I tore my ACL, and then I had 2 surgeries over the summer. And I just started a new job last week at Texas Roadhouse here in town.
Go! The Texas Roadhouse. It's 2 freebies today.
2 mentions
Get out
today.
and actually leave.
Okay.
Gary, is it snowing as good as it's raining right now? And
My grandmother's.
licking?
It sounds like there's a ton of people who are staying there.
There's my grandmother, my mother, my little sister, myself, and my 2 children.
Yeah, so that's quite a few folks. How many bedrooms are in the house?
12.
One.
It's a mansion.
There is 2 on the main floor, 1 upstairs. There's a
Right.
basically an apartment down in the basement.
Then the shed out back too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
4.5 bedrooms.
There's enough room there. It's just time. It's time for us. There's no other way for us to get out without.
Sure. Sure.
Are the kids being badasses, or the sister and grandma, or whoever she's staying with there? Who?
This all started because I was disciplining my own child. Lavender wouldn't let me discipline my child.
Lavender.
My child was back talking me. My child has been in and out of the system. She's been to jail. I've got her back. And I was disciplining my child, and Lavender stepped in and wouldn't let me.
Are you talking about honesty? You're trying to discipline honesty?
Yes.
Okay. Did
Yes.
I pronounce her name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Lavender and honesty.
Honesty.
You've never been in trouble before, right?
No, sir. Not. I've had minor tickets.
Yeah,
Like a
I
dog
mean, like
violation.
criminal wise. You've never been charged.
Dog
with
violation. Classic.
No, sir.
Yeah, Lavender's causing problems. Lavender, honesty, my other kid, misdemeanor.
Is there paperwork I have to sign? Is there paperwork?
And this all happened yesterday evening.
Yes, sir. I'm unaware of the time. I don't know. I was half asleep. I was ready for bed. So I don't,
She's using her
remember
mask as a
got here
napkin?
last night.
According to the narrative or the uniform incident report, it looks like it started around 8 p.m. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
What are you going to
watching.
be doing over at the Roadhouse?
I'm a server. Last week I just started my training. Last week I did host a couple hostess shift and a food runner position, and then this week I'm supposed to start my serving training.
They're gonna let me hand out rolls this week.
Today, it could be tomorrow. I'm not sure. My daughter has a doctor's appointment at Yearling and Whitehall for her birth control. And her
TMI, honey.
tomorrow at 3:30. I don't know if I was supposed to be at work today or not. She was supposed to call me.
It sounds like all her kids are like older kids.
Yeah, she said
like
teens.
Yeah, not like tiny children.
I'd tell her I'd let her out if she promises to never serve a steak with 4 French fries ever. Because they like to do that at Texas Roadhouse for some reason. Potatoes are expensive.
I mean, I feel bad for her. She's having a time, but it seems like she's in a position where she's definitely not going anywhere.
I do feel for her,
you
though.
know,
That's a pretty shitty situation she's in, it sounds like.
Normally, in a case like this, I would simply impose a fine and be done with it. But that's not going to change anything that's going on in your house. And, you know, sometimes being put on probation is the best thing that ever happened to a person, because you're going to be set up with resources that you may not even be aware or available to you as it relates to parenting issues.
Sir, I'm
as it
trying to
relates
get out of Newark.
What's that?
I'm trying to get out of Newark.
Okay, well, we'll deal with that as we go down the road. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 30 days, but I'm going to suspend all but one day and give you the credit for the day that you've already been in. I'm going to put you on probation under the following terms. Got to get a job. Got to.
I have a job.
Right.
Okay, we got it.
You're already one step ahead, aren't you?
Put in the thing about
mailing
French
address
fries,
and
please,
working phone number
Stansberry.
on file at all times with probation and the clerk.
Got
And then this
pictures.
is probably the most important one. I'm going to order that you go ahead and connect with all the available social services agencies for assistance with any family issues that you may
That's
that may
not a
be
bad
relevant
idea.
to your situation that you may qualify for. I'll impose a $150 fine, but I'll suspend $100 of the fine, leaving you only a $50 fine plus the court cost to serve. I'm not putting you on probation because I think that you're a danger to the community. I'm putting you on probation because I think if you connect with the services that they can point you to, that it's going to be less likely.
I have children's services in my life right now. I have everything that I can get, but there's like the housing is so expensive right now.
Well, and I trust me, I understand that. And I know that we've had individuals in my drug court program who've struggled mightily as far as housing is concerned. And I, you know, this isn't a perfect solution, and I understand that you're frustrated and at the end of your rope. But if this is as bad as it gets, that just means one thing, that it can only get better. So I hope that it will. Do you have any questions?
Okay, so does that mean that I'm here for 30 days or I'm doing probation?
No, I'm going to release you. What it means is if you violate the probation terms, you could end up serving the other 29 days, but I don't see that happening with you. What I see happening, hopefully, is you getting assistance with getting your own housing, transportation, parenting assistance in the form of either skills education or
where's the child support
relief services.
Good old lad.
Like you said, you're already involved with Job and Family Services. That's just a start. There's a ton of other things out there. All right. All right. You have any other questions today, Ms. Deal?
No, sir. Thank you.
Well, I do wish you the best of luck. You may go with the officer.
Thank you.
All right.
Creed, before we go,
yes.
I just want to show something real quick. You know, a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes you guys don't get to see when we're doing stuff. I was prepared in case, you know, things didn't go well with the court. And
we have
look, we're not going to have time to watch this. We'll watch it tomorrow, I promise. But just want to show everybody, you know, always working over here, always putting in the effort, even down here, over here, excuse me. You got the little guy in the corner, the table, the upstairs. I mean, if that isn't her, I don't know what is.
So perfect. We'll have to start there tomorrow. By the way, perfect timing, by the way, right there. Boom.
Oh, look at that. Nailed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look for tomorrow some Wormans from over there in Knox County.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Appreciate it. All the likes, the comments, the new subs. Said it earlier, too, and we're going to remind ourselves to remind you. We got a case. I promise you. There's a reason why you want to go and sub there also, because soon we have ideas and things. So,
yeah.
There's that.
Pretty soon that'll be the only place you'll find extras. Creed, those are the sides, so to speak.
Yes. It would appear that she doesn't have any arms. I think those are her breasts there in the front. And
the picture don't lie, brother.
Does she have a cell phone in her pocket?
Creed, that's what I drew. I mean, if you look at the picture.
Yeah, you were. Jesus.
That's one thing that we're going to talk about tomorrow. Does she have a cell phone?
It looks it. All right, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you back here at 405 East. Bonsai, thank you. Kiernoth, being Nancy, Jim, Shells, farts for Dave. I don't have any farts ready. I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah, okay. And Golf and Guns on the caboose. We'll see you at 405 East for Mini Chase Monday. I almost said Mature Monday, Mikey. Going back 2 years there.
Boy, things are getting real spicy here nowadays. We're just letting it all hang out. Yeah, we'll see you for that. Don't forget, if you haven't liked this already, do so. Subscribe wherever you're watching, and consider going over to We Got a Case only channel, where eventually you'll only see cases over there and nowhere else. So go ahead and get in there now. Be on the ground floor of a up and coming business. Until the next time, who loves you, baby?